Hey guys, welcome to another simple NCE prep video where I go over questions and information for you to listen to when you're doing things like driving to your internship site or getting stuff done around the house or just laying in bed at night trying to fall asleep, and this might help you do it. So I'm going to hop right into it. We're going to go through group work, group counseling, and then the next session, career and lifestyle development today. So first question, number 20. One of the first formal therapeutic groups was held by A. Joseph Pratt, B. Carl Rogers, C. Irv Yalom, or D. Wilfred Bion. And the answer is A. Joseph Pratt. It says, in 1905, Joseph Pratt, a medical doctor from Boston, gathered a group of patients with tuberculosis in order to educate them. The way that I was trying to help myself remember this was Joseph Pratt, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt worked with dinosaurs who travel in herds, and herds is another name for groups. So, not sure if that's confusing or helpful, but those kinds of things help me, so I'll be sharing them throughout these videos. Number 21, of the following, which is not a curative factor of group as outlined by Yalom? A, universality, B, installation of hope, C, intrapersonal learning, or D, group cohesiveness? And the answer is C, intrapersonal learning. Interpersonal learning, not intrapersonal learning, is a curative factor. Interpersonal learning occurs when a person tries out new behaviors inside of a group. The group is seen as a microcosm of the real world. Number 22. Jerry hears a fellow group member say, I'm really struggling with this divorce. I can't see my way to the other side sometimes and seems like I'll never feel better. Jerry just experienced a relationship breakup himself, which spun him into a depression. And though the group member's situation is unfortunate, Jerry feels a little better hearing about it. Jerry is experiencing which curative factor of group therapy? A, imitative behavior, B, imparting information, C, installation of hope, or D, universality? And the answer is D, universality. This is when a member feels relief that they're not alone and that others share similar problems. So the way I remember that is that he's not alone in the universe. So he's relating to another person's issue. And that helps him not feel alone in the universe, universality. All right, number 23. What are the 3 levels of social groups? Primary, secondary, and tertiary? High, medium, and low? First, second, and third? Or small, medium, and large? So the answer to this one is primary, secondary, and tertiary. This was first described by Charles Cooley, and his primary social groups shared close personal and enduring relationships. Secondary groups were larger, and relationships were goal-oriented, impersonal, and maybe temporary. And tertiary groups are sometimes called reference groups and are any group which shapes one's attitude and behavior. And I'm not sure if it's helpful at all, but I was just thinking primary school, secondary school, and then tertiary school, like going off to college. And those were 3 levels that we go through in life. So when we're experiencing, and those are all social activities. So 3 levels of social groups. All right. Number 24. The fact that a group decision will be less conservative than a decision made by an individual can be explained by which of the following concepts? A, bystander apathy, B, risky shift phenomenon, C, skepticism, or D, conditioning? And the answer is B, risky shift phenomenon. Risky shift phenomenon is part of social psychology and a form of group polarization. It's related to de-individuation, which occurs when a person in a group loses some of their self-identity, leading to a loss of restraint and self-awareness. So one way to kind of remember risky shift phenomenon, when an individual makes more brave decisions in a group. They're taking risks, and they are willing to take those risks because they're in a group. So their brain kind of shifts. Risky shift phenomenon. All right. Number 25. Which is the correct order of Tucker and Jensen's stages of group development? A, performing. Forming, storming, norming, and adjourning. B, norming, forming, storming, performing, and adjourning. C, forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Or D, forming, storming, performing, adjourning. Sorry, I had to for that last one. I just really wanted it to rhyme. So the answer is C, forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So one way to help remember this is that obviously forming comes first. The group forms, the group comes together. Storming, they first come together, they don't know each other, they don't trust each other. Norming, things are starting to, fit together. They're starting to work as a group. Performing, they've been through the storm, they've gone through the norming, and they're starting to actually perform and do better. And then adjourning, they're preparing to be done and wrap up their group. All right. Number 26, which career theorist talked about life roles? A, Ginsberg, B, Holland, C, Parsons, or D, Super? The answer is D, Super. And the life roles he talked about were child, student, homemaker, leisurite, citizen, and worker. And the way I help myself remember this is that in all these things, we want to be super. We want to be a super student, a super homemaker, super citizen, and worker, and in all of these life roles. All right, number 27. Holland's trait factor theory matched which of the following together? A, gender traits with personality traits. B, professional traits with earning power. C, personality traits with job requirements. Or D, personality traits with intelligence level. And the answer is C, personality traits with job requirements. He matched the traits of basically who they are, what makes them tick, with what the job required. So it was pretty, seemed to make sense. All right. 28. Jeremy, during intake, told you that he really enjoys his job as a watch repairman. His strong interest inventory would probably indicate a high score in which of the following? A, investigative. Excuse me. B, conventional. C, realistic. Or D, social. And I think this is realistic. Yes. Those who score high in realistic enjoy working with machines. They are doers. So the way I remembered this was that realistic reality shows, and there's like reality shows where they work with machines, like Dirty Jobs or welding machines, or just, different things like that. So that was the only thing I could think of. If you have something else, something better, please leave it in the comments. But realistic reality shows, working with machines. All right. Number 29, a counselor has designed his career counseling group in such a way that it presents a field and levels approach to careers. Whose theory is he following? A, Holland, B, Super, C, Tiedemann, or D, Rowe? And the answer is D, Rowe. And the way I remember this, I heard this on somewhere else, I think another video. Row your boat, and field and levels, and field and streams. So that's the connection you could try to make there. So field and levels, field and streams, row your boat. All right. Number 30. What do dual career families often lack? A, money, B, health insurance, C, leisure, or D, pets. So obviously it's not going to be A or B, and the answer is C, leisure. Dual career families are likely to have access to healthcare and money. However, because both adults in the household are working, they have less time for leisure. Instead of relaxing on evenings and weekends, they're often doing things to keep the household running, like chores or errands. And people in dual career families, when both people are working and they still have pets, it's just that they don't see their pets as often, or maybe they have like a dog walker come. So yeah, that's my generalization for the day. 31. Developmental career theorists view career choice as A, stable, B, fixed, C, ongoing, or D, optimistic. And when you think of developmental career theorists, when you're developing, you're not stable. When you're developing, you're not fixed. When you're developing, could be optimistic, but that's kind of relative. So the answer is C, ongoing. Developmental theorists believe an individual's career choice is ongoing. It's a lifelong process where individuals search, evaluate, and process information about themselves and the world around them to figure out where they fit. 32. Which is not one of the original 3 stages of career development identified by Ginsberg and his associates? A, exploratory, B, fantasy, C, tentative, or D, realistic? The answer is A, exploratory. During childhood, individuals are in the fantasy stage, and this is for Ginsberg's career development theory. And then after the fantasy stage, when they're a little kid, they move into adolescence, where they're in the tentative stage. And then after that, after adolescence, when they're around age 17, they go into the realistic stage. And the way I remember that, because exploratory and fantasy kind of sounded similar to me, I just thought of Ginsberg and then Ruth Bader Ginsberg, and I thought of fantasy, tentative, and realistic. Fantasy, I imagined her playing on the ground with a little kid, playing pretend. Tentative, her, not talking with someone who's not sure about their life. And then D, realistic, I just imagined her yelling at someone in court about being realistic about their life. Not sure if that helps. Again, with that one, maybe if you have a better one, hit me up in the comment section. All right, and our last question, number 33. This publication provides key information about a job, including training needed, salary, job outlook, etc. A, the NBCC, B, the ACA, C, the ASCA, or D, OOH? And the answer is D, OOH, the Occupational Outlook Handbook, published by the U.S. Department of Labor, and it has statistics information for hundreds of jobs. NBCC stands for National Board for Certified Counselors. ACA is the American Counseling Association. Hopefully you know that. ASCA is the American School Counselor Association. So it's none of those. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Keep on studying, keep on working hard. We got this.